Hi, I'm Sandeep, and welcome to my masterclass on how to create a bulletproof marketing job application. In the last session, we spoke about narratives and how important it is that your resume has a narrative. Today, let's dive into a little bit more detail. Now, any great resume can be boiled down into a single sentence. I'm the blank that will help your company achieve blank. So, the way I describe myself to my future employers is I'm a brand marketer who can help your brand drive revenue sustainably. Yours can vary, right? It's all dependent upon who you want to be and what your narrative is going to look like. Now, most hiring managers are bombarded with resumes, most of which is often unsuitable for what he or she is hiring for. So, in order to conserve their sanity, they typically resort to heuristics or mental frameworks while scanning through your resume. Now, if your narrative is unclear or if it does not match the job that he or she is hiring for, they are likely to scan through your resume and reject it within 20 to 30 seconds, if that. So, your job is to make her job easier. You need to decide what narrative is it that your hiring manager should take away, and you should use only those bullet points that support your narrative. Now, it can be tough to do this on your own, right? Because you are very often too close to your resume. So, one tip that I usually give candidates who want to ensure that their narrative is clear is to find three others: a friend, a mentor, and a stranger. Have them read through your resume and then have them repeat the narrative that they have found about you from your resume back to you. It'll be a very interesting exercise, I can assure you that. Typically, what you will find is that the narrative that you had in your mind while crafting the resume may not be the narrative that your friend, your mentor, or your stranger is taking away. Therefore, adjust accordingly. Choose your data points wisely. Read through the job description. Try and understand the keywords that are being used in the JD, and then use those keywords in your resume. For instance, do they need a growth marketer? Or do they need someone who can help them strengthen their social media game? Do they need a marketer who has prior exposure to PR? Or do they need a marketer who can write great briefs and can work with agencies to turn around really great marketing campaigns? So try and understand these requirements from the job description. Next, use the exact keywords used in the JD in your resume or your cover letter, but make sure that you don't end up doing keyword stuffing, which is really bad. Second, use the exact job title used in the job description in your resume or your cover letter. And finally, understand the challenges that the hiring manager is facing, and then position the points and the data points primarily that you are using in your resume in a manner such that it looks like you have solved such problems or such issues in the past. For instance, an early stage startup will be looking for growth marketers. It will be looking for marketers who have helped achieve PMF for other products or services, who have some exposure to new product launches, who have some idea or exposure to creating new brand identities, etc. So make sure that you include such points from your previous experience in your resume. Finally, make each word earn its way onto your resume. A resume is not the place for you to showcase your flair for writing. Instead, keep everything succinct. Go through each bullet point and ask yourself this question: is this bullet point supporting my narrative? And if it is supporting my narrative, is this the most concise way to write it? Now, 3 steps that can probably help you with this are: 1. Use the context action result format. This basically means that you set the context for your job or your role with a few sentences at the beginning of each section, and then you use the action, you showcase the action that you took and the result that it generated for each of the bullet points. This helps to keep everything in a structured, logical, easy to read format, and it helps to keep your bullet points consistent. The idea is, do not make the hiring manager hunt for answers in your resume. Next, use spikes. Spikes are inflection points in your resume that make your resume memorable, that make the hiring manager sit up and take notice of your resume. Just make sure that your spikes support your narrative. And finally, use credibility markers. Credibility markers are basically external validations of your achievements, which show that you have done what you said you did, right? These are proof of work, so to speak, for your bullet points. So, for instance, promotions that you have received in your line of work, or external validations in the form of industry awards, or a great marketing campaign that you can point to, these all act as credibility markers. Now, there are a few do's and don'ts when it comes to structuring your bullet points or writing them. So, for instance, don't say stuff like delivered results under tight external deadlines and time constraints. This basically means you got the job done on time. So, don't even say this because it is expected of you. Or, and I'm reading here, don't say enable regional sales force with a constant stream of leads by following established marketing processes. That is quite a mouthful, and the hiring manager will not be able to make sense of what exactly is it that you did to achieve all this. Instead, try rephrasing it something like this. Generated a sales pipeline of $20 million by organizing physical and virtual roundtable events, industry activations, and via a digital demand generation campaign. Now, this sounds interesting.